Well, I flew my son down to San Diego from San Luis Obispo to see my big show at the Belly Up. Since he turned 21, never know how often I'll play there. And then his planes got all messed up because of fog, and he basically couldn't get back. So I drove him home to San Luis Obispo, and I thought, well, Big Sur is just like an hour and a half from there. So here we are. First night's camp spot. Not bad. Getting a little chilly out though. Well, with Highway 1 being closed in about the middle of Big Sur, pretty quiet around here. Some very empty roads. So we're in the southern end of Big Sur, south side of the road closure. And 2 or 3 years ago, I did the north side of the closure. I think that's on a Yosemite Valley video. Went from Yosemite to Santa Cruz to Big Sur, Santa Barbara. Boy, it is incredibly dark out on this empty coast we're in. Man. Cute old water fountain. It's not happening anymore. Yeah, let's check out the gas prices in the middle of Big Sur. Gotta be at least 10 bucks. Ooh, only 8, 9, 9.49. What a bargain if you're stuck. This here's a neat little surf spot I've been out at, I guess twice in my surfing career. It's got a pretty good left-hander that comes through. Go check it out today. The river, the ocean. Breaking pretty darn good today. I used to hike to the top of that peak up there, past the cute birdie, and get serpentine. Whole rock's made out of serpentine. Soft green stone. We're going to head down to Sand Dollar Beach. I used to drive the school bus up here. There's a campground across the road. It's my favorite place. Probably came 10 years in a row, stay a week or two. And I got to know the rangers quite well. And he'd let me stay a few nights for some candles and incense. And I'd pay a few nights. He'd let me stay a few nights for free. Super cool cat. One time I went and the whole place was closed. He goes, "Are you self-contained?" I said, "Sure I am." I don't know if I was, but let me stay. Had the whole place to myself. It's basically my friend. Good times in the old school bus. Sand Dollar Beach, one of the bigger beaches in Big Sur. if not the only big one, where it's actually a mass amount of sand. Boy, not much sand today. Usually that is sand all the way to the cliffs, going way out there into the water. Actually, I've never seen it this rocky before. Been here like 50 times, I've never seen it not sandy down there. Interesting. Could just be because it's high tide, I don't know. Looks like in the reef rocks there might be the sand still there, but hard to say. Beautiful Big Sur. Good surf spot at times. Getting a little bit of sun so we can see that beautiful water. All the clouds out today. That's one of the surf spots right there. Not too happening today. See where it will be rolling in though. Boy, the beach is just covered with the little flying manta rays or jellyfish. I forget their names, but they're everywhere. Woo. That there is one of the bigger landslides they've had lately, all the way down to the beach. You can see the new road going through there. Boy, the road being closed here cuts down on traffic. I've seen one Caltrans truck and one van lifer. Oh, and there's one more car, look at that. All these nets holding the rocks in, and this is the bridge for the landslide to go over. What a mess, huh? Look at that. It's constant movement, constant work keeping this thing open. That's the new road we showed you a minute ago. Looks like we've hit the end of the road. 500 feet. Can't go no further, but you can look on my Yosemite video and see the northern end at the end of the Yosemite trip. I went to the other side of this closure. Look at that, closed up. Just to warn you, good luck ever getting a campground around here. It's like always full year round. Guess if you book in advance, but if you're super stealthy and mellow, there's lots of these little zones you can pull off for the night, pull in when it's dark, leave early, play around all day. Free! My daddy used to come do retreats here. Silent retreat with the monks up in those hills. I used to stop and get some monk fudge before I got too obese, so we'll just keep going today. Incredible that they're able to even reopen this part of the road. There's your final product. There's where they got a bridge going over the landslide. That's pretty awesome. Lots of work. Hanging on the edge of the cliff here. Pretty darn amazing. Beautiful stonework they've done. Possibly fake stones. Spent a few nights illegally in the school bus at this place. Due to its 36-foot length, had quite the hangover. I'd take this spot right here, and my whole rear would hang over the cliff, and I have water at me, high tide. It's like the roads eroded and they put rocks, but used to hang it over right there and sleep over the ocean. What a good life. Coming up on the left, there's this driveway. It used to have a nightclub and a restaurant. When I was staying at the Sand Dollar campground, me and the kids would ride our bikes here in the morning for pancakes. About a mile and a half, and there's a nice dirt trail on the cliff, so you don't have to be on the highway. They have like a jade store, and it is burnt. Nothing left except pretty flowers and gardener driveways. Now this is the trail to Jade Cove. Used to have a sign up on the road by the parking area and a pretty decent trail going down. And eventually the trail got pretty gnarly, and then eventually the trail got to the point where they had a rope you had to use to climb up and down, and eventually the sign disappeared. Now you kind of gotta know to know. But as far as Jade Cove, there was this little secret cove a couple blocks from here that I went to for my prospecting, and a little bit better collections there. I don't even know if I'll go down because I already have several jars of jade, and they've been sitting in those jars for like 40 years, so I don't know if I really need any more. But Jade Cove, baby. Boy, there's just no one on this entire coast. I've seen like 4 cars today. Luckily getting a little sunshine. So that's the Jade Cove down there. Lots of little chunkers. Found a couple good sized ones over my life. There's a couple fellas diving for jade right there. That's how you get the good ones. The show looks pretty reasonable. It still has the rope going up there, and other than that, looks pretty good. I certainly don't need any jade. I think we'll pass. Over the years, I've taken many morning strolls out on this cliff. It's a lovely place. Once I even got stalked by a wolf, if there are wolves here, otherwise it was coyotes, but something big was tracking me hard. Yeah, spent a lot of time out on this cliff. So that's the campground up under those trees there, and there's also a dirt road that goes up that valley. You can get all the way over the mountains and up and out of the fog into the sun. Free camping up there. And this is the bluffs. And that's where I watched a lot of sunsets from right at that point. Had myself some little chairs carved out of the sandstone. Quite a bit of time out on that cliff right there. Now this here is the trail to where I used to get my serpentine from. It's a whole rock of it out here. It's pretty awesome. Go check it out. Well, the trail's definitely grown over the years, and a lot of poison oak. I'm not gonna go climbing through this stuff. See how far we can get. Yeah, the trail has pretty much disappeared over the years. See if it clears up any. There's some nice flowers right there. Some nice pelicans going by. belief of 3, leave it be. Looks like the trail's opening up a little, so see if we can get to the Serpentine Rock. Ground is practically green with the serpentine. Look at that. Shiny nice. I used to climb the top and stick my head over the edge. That's a pretty nice landslide there. Straight over the highway and into the ocean. Rebuilt that one's pretty old. Well, there's where all the boulders I keep seeing going by and trucks are going. A couple cranes down there trying to save this part of the road. Wow, it's a lot of rocks they've moved here. Number 30. Well, these waterfalls used to be a secret spot, and I believe those days are over. Now, the first time I came to these waterfalls was summer of 8th grade, so somewhere in the mid-70s. Yeah, my parents let me take a train up to Salinas, that's east of Monterey, with our bikes. Me and 2 buddies. We rode through Big Sur and we were looking for a camping spot. We ran into a preacher man and his son here. He told us about these waterfalls, said come camp here. And he was right, it was awesome. Then somewhere around 4 in the morning, he woke us all up. Said his son ran away, big fight, wanted us to get in his car with him and go look for him in the middle of Big Sur. We were all scared to death and packed up as quick as we could and got our bike. Can you imagine that? Not even in high school yet, and the parents let us all take off on bicycles. Well, I made it to San Luis Obispo and got back on the train. And then my friends made it to Santa Barbara and called their daddy to come get them, but pretty gnarly bike ride for a bunch of youngsters. And meeting the preacher man was scary as hell. And I've been coming back here ever since. Preacher man and the son had the giant fight over the son had smoked marijuana before they said prayers for their dinner, which they did share with us. Hot dogs. I have some pictures of when this thing's flowing even harder than this during a big mudslide storm. If I could find some of those. Just me and my dog Lulu. That there is the cave we slept in that fateful night. Well, with the dawn of the internet and people like me putting crap on YouTube, quiet days are over here. I think it's always crowded. It's quite the attraction. And well deserved. People should see it. It's incredibly beautiful in here. I think it's warm enough for me to take a dip. I was here several summers ago on a warm day, and boy, it was crowded with like 80 people, beer, music, partying. Everyone seemed well behaved and no trash, so Well, it's a deservable place to get seen by humans, I guess. But it was nice when it was the secret spot. Well, I dipped in right there. It wasn't nearly as cold as I was thinking it'd be. I've been using this river for about 40 years of showering when I'm still camping. It's nice to get fresh water every day before you go to bed. So if I'm on southern end of Big Sur, I'd always come here, take a dip. Well, I'll wind up this Petrified Roy tale with the preacher man told us that hobbits lived back here. And the guardrail there had all these little mushroom drawings and hippie drawings and hobbit drawings. Those drawings were there up to about 10 years ago. And if you're wondering, yes, I went back in around 11th grade and I made the bike trip all the way from Salinas, Monterey, back to Del Mar through LA, did the whole run. So now you know. I've been thinking about it's pretty rad that parents maybe were neglectful. I don't know. That's 3 different sets of parents let us go. Now remember, that was before there were cell phones or any communications really, other than a payphone over here and there. Bunch of 8th graders. Well, we were going into 9th, so however old that is. Woohoo! Yep, so they put in new guardrails finally, but the whole backside of this was just hippy-dippy painting the entire thing. It's quite beautiful. And this was the gnarly hill we had to bicycle up right after we took our camp down from Preacher Man. Well, I must say that water sure makes a guy feel refreshed and alive. Great to be alive. This here is called Ragged Point. Years ago I made a map for my nephew marking miles of all my favorite spots heading north from here. If I can find that, I'll stick it on this video in case you're ever heading to Big Sur. You can go to Petrified Roy's favorite stops. Nice undercarriages of all the cypress trees. Cypress Grove. It's like they got the, look like they got the little lover's lock fence going on pretty strong here. It's a lot of locks. I'm more interested in the highways. Isn't that awesome? Let me build this thing along here. I don't usually stop at a Ragged Point. It's pretty touristy, but boy, it is really cute, especially if you need a snack or something. I do recall on my bike trip, number 1, needed to use their air pump at their gas station, and the guy denied me right here on Ragged Point. That's probably why I never stop here. Got a trail going down to the beach. I've done it once or twice. It's a lot of steps to get to that, which is pretty much what you get. I'll be skipping that today for sure. Some glorious water. Let's take a little stroll to the beach through this big valley. Check out all those flowers. Woo. Man, that's a lovely cypress. Could live in that one. Hi, little froggies. Rabbit. I've been to this spot a couple times and generally just walk across to the beach. Looks like the outlet moved way down there. Maybe we'll cruise over there, see. Yep, looks like the river mouth moved way over there now. Look Looks like some good waves coming in off it. This is some pretty good surfing out here sometimes. I've never surfed here. Oh, there's definitely plenty of old driftwood around here. You want to light a fire. Little mini cypress right there. Bit of a river mouth wave forming here. Nice peak. Same little purple jellyfish, manta ray thing that I showed you earlier. Mass die out here. Woo-wee. Kind of smelly. Mighty green hills around here. We got this snazzy new road all through here, and there's almost zero trace of the old one. The old one used to be right next to the cliff. There's a little piece of the old highway one down there. And I ate pancakes at that place once. It's like the town got left behind. Here's another rambling story from Petrified Roy about the sea lions. Back in the 80s when I'd cruise through, there was a tiny little parking lot and you could go down on the beach, mix with the sea lions, say hello to the little fellas. And of course I took a picture with one pretty darn close, like thousands of people would do today if they could, and probably get bit and chased. Sea lions are extremely aggressive and very fast. I'll look for that picture too. Well, since then, they've put in big road signs that tell you sea lion viewing zone. Fences, they got little volunteer guards. It's all a good thing. Way too many people would be harassing them. You can see them on the beach there. Maybe I'll walk closer. But they're quite large, I do say. Hard to believe I was lamenting with them. Wow, what a scene. Imagine the place in the summer. There used to be like, 2 to 6 people here in the day. Yeah, I'd say definitely a good thing they roped it off and fenced it in. It's a major tourist attraction. No overnight parking. Quite a few of them. I know when I came and took my picture with them, it wasn't this many. Those different things, different seasons go on. Some of these nice blondies over here. Woo. Cuties. guy's the cutest of them all. He's not so torn up. Some of them rolling towards the water. The old town of San Simeon. Pretty cute place. Comes with horses and an old church building and other old school buildings. Always like seeing that church. Good view of the church for you. How adorable is that? Park on the beach. Place comes with a cool little pier for walking. Nice point and a cove. Boy, pretty clean pier. Very clean railings. No fish guts, hardly any bird poo. Cool setup. Quite the happening at the beach. Me and my doggy Lulu once parked there during an incredibly stormy moment. It was too much rain to drive. We sat it out right in that parking lot. The only ones there, and we got a bunch of driftwood. Like people having a lot of fun. There's your Hearst Castle. I've only been up there once. He was a huge advocate against marijuana. He was afraid it was gonna hurt his oil business or something. Interesting. Green, green, it's green they say on the far side of the hill. Green, green, we're going to stay to where the grass is greener still. Woo. There's the famous Morro Bay Rock. There's the towers to the left, smokestackers. Into my cousin's Airbnb driveway. This snazzy neighborhood here. Mr. Rodney, I need to get to my shirts, buddy. Can you come on out? You're holding up the whole show here.